Hey everybody, it's Abby Glassenberg at Craft Industry Alliance. I hope you are having a wonderful Wednesday. Today we're doing our member spotlight just a little bit later than normal because we had a couple different scheduling things happening today, but we're really excited to drop in on a Craft Industry Alliance member and learn more about their business and about all the different customers that they serve, their business journey, etc. Today, we're going to be talking with Innotex Solutions and Collaborations. I think that's the full name. And Aamir Thobhani is the person who is running that company. They've been a member for a while, and Aamir is just great. He's somebody who participates in our craft business roundtables. He comes to the trade shows. I got to meet him in person at H&H Americas. And he's just somebody who's doing some really interesting work in the industry around innovations in fabric creation and production and collaborations with different companies. So I'm excited to have him. And while we're waiting for Aamir to join us, a few short announcements. So first is that I will be at Quilt Market this weekend. I fly out on Friday early, so I will be in Houston by midday in order to participate in some schoolhouse sessions in the afternoon. And then I'm also going to be at Sample Spree, really looking forward to it. On Saturday, I will be on the show floor almost the whole day. I have a couple of meetings scheduled, but I would love to meet you if you will be at Quilt Market. And one way to do that is to join us at the Rustic, which is like a bar restaurant that's right near the convention center in Houston. We are going to be co-hosting a little gathering with H&H Americas at the Rustic. It starts at 5:30. It goes until 7. You can come have a cocktail or a snack and just network and relax. And we would just love to meet you. We'll be sharing a little bit more about Craft Industry Alliance at that event and about H&H Americas and the opportunities there. So we would love to meet you. The second announcement is that our holiday gift guide submissions have just opened. So if you're not aware, we at Craft Industry Alliance publish a really beautiful holiday gift guide. It comes out on Black Friday and we promote it throughout the weeks that follow. And it really helps to share with consumers while they're shopping for the holidays that they should maybe consider supporting small businesses, supporting craft businesses, supporting small craft businesses, many of which are our members. And so it's really lovely. We really enjoy doing it and shopping from it ourselves. And so if you are interested in having your product or service listed in our holiday gift guide, those submissions are open now. I think off the top of my head that they closed November 12th. Could be wrong there, but it's somewhere in that vicinity. And if you are a Craft Industry Alliance member, your listing is free. So we want to support you and share what you're making. So please go ahead and send in your submission. The link to that was actually in our newsletter today. Plus, we sent out a special newsletter all about it exclusively to Craft Industry Alliance members. The other thing is we have a opportunity in our gift guide to promote yourself even more. So your products and services can take up a full row of listings if you want to, and that's a part of a premium package. But if you just want your one listing, that is free and included in your membership. So that just launched, which was really exciting. Lots of preparation on our side to make that happen, but we love doing it. And then I'm hoping Aamir will join us, but if he does not hop on in a moment, then and Aamir, if you're here and I missed you, please press the little plus sign at the bottom. There's Aamir. Okay, wait, I see him here. So let's see. Aamir, press that plus sign. Oh, there it is. Okay, yay. always chat about everything else that's going on here at Craft Industry Alliance. And I think Aamir might actually be at Market. So maybe we'll get to see each other in person as well. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, Abby. How are you?
Am I right that you're coming to Houston?
Yes, we are. We are coming to Houston, and we're coming. This is going to be the first time we're showcasing in Houston.
Okay.
And yeah, like we're gonna come up with our fabric concepts. Can you hear me properly, by the way?
It's a little bit echoey, but I wonder if when you're talking, if I mute myself, that might help. So let's go back and maybe you can tell us a little bit about Innotex, because when I first met you and learned about your company, I didn't know that this sort of company existed, to be honest with you. So I never heard of a company like yours where basically you're doing all the innovation on your end and partnering with lots of different fabric and textile companies. So I think it's super cool, and I think people would love to hear more about it. So tell us about how it all works.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of background where it all started because COVID changed things in my life. And when you're on a very comfortable day-to-day working atmosphere, you know that's where you're gonna go, you know, your growth plan and everything. But then COVID stopped everything, and I got myself stuck in my house, and I was not enjoying that atmosphere for some reason. And it made me like think about a lot of things that I've done in the past in my career. So it's kind of like motivated me to come out and give myself an opportunity to work for the industry rather than just a company. And that was a thought process that came out. And it took me a couple of months. I had some like my personal journeys. I went to California for a couple of months, stayed there, got some inspiration there. And yeah, after like spending a little bit of time by myself, I figured out, you know what, these are my strengths, and I want to work around my strengths, and that's where I can make a difference. And textiles, it's textiles, or you can say like working on the innovative side of textiles has always been like one of the most things that I really enjoyed doing, working with designers. You know, I've worked with a lot of designers in the past as well. So I felt like that's something I really want to put out as a company and be beneficial for the industry. And being associated with the craft and quilt industry, I just felt like it was the perfect timing. COVID gave that break, and it's now time to make some more progress in that direction.
Okay, that's super. So you are basically like an innovator and a collaborator. So
Correct.
talk a little bit about how that works. Like, do you create the fabric and then the idea in advance and then go and sell it to the companies, or do they come to you, or like how does that work, and how does that sort of collaboration come about?
Absolutely, and I think that's what we put in the name as well. Like I want it to be a very collaborative. It has to be a collaborative atmosphere when it comes to design, you know, like and developments. There's so many ideas that come to the table, and that's why I actually put the name Innotex Solutions and Collaborations. We want to collaborate with people, and it's always going to bring something unique out when there's a lot of like thought processes involved. So yeah, like when to explain like how things work at Innotex. So we do a lot of like product development planning with a lot of inspirations that we see out and how things are changing with different industries, and pick things up and customize things for the craft and quilt industry, how it's going to work. Obviously, there's some base fabric in order to understand like the fabric that works for this industry has a range of between, let's say, like 130, 140 GSM to like 250 GSM. And how can we bring more products in that fabric range, fabric weights? And you can do magic. You can do like so many things out of like small inspirations. I'm just gonna give you like a rundown on a concept that we're actually coming out for the 2025-26, how it all started was through a very small inspiration when we were like, checkerboards was very big in like last 2 years, 3 years. We've seen it in multiple industries, and we're like, how can we bring that checkerboard into craft and quilts and make it unique? So with the small inspiration that we had, we saw like an ICAT-based box, and we're like, we're gonna use this ICAT texture that we're seeing on the box, and how can we make it an interactive checkerboard concept out of it? So we partner with like, we hire like freelance designers. I've got like a few beautiful, amazing, very creative in their experiences. The one that we hired was based out of Montreal. She's an FIT graduate, worked in Paris, and then now she lives in Montreal and worked for a textile weaving mill. So I knew that she had her like her expertise in weaving. So I've done a number of projects with her since we've started Innotex. So I was like, I want to reach out to this designer and give my concept and direction. And then we came out. So the first thing we do is that we make it into a software. I'm just going to show you some printouts because so the first thing is about the concept for any woven concept is a PEC plan. A PEC plan has three main things. One is basically the weave type, what type of weave it's going to be, and then the construction, and then the repeat within that weave and construction, and you blend it all together. So we were like, okay, you know what? This is how the weave is going to look like. It has an organization based on some harnesses, which are like, I'm going to use some terminologies, which are like textile loom-based terminologies, dobbies. So this was made out of a 12 harness dobby, and then we gave it a structure, a repeat, and then before we got into like any interactive style of checkerboard, we made a simple checkerboard in 4 different colorways. And then we're like, okay, you know what? This shows the base. So we're using a very constant warp, and we're adding the patterns in the weft so that it creates the patterns. And you can play with more patterns during that as well. So later we're like, okay, we made the base of the checkerboard. Now let's make it more interactive. Let's make it more fun. So we started like playing with ideas. You can see like from here, it's like the repeat of how the design is being inserted on the weft. And the warp is doing its job, and this is also a repeat of the loom. So one repeat on one direction and the second repeat on the second direction, you create a very fun moving checkerboard. And then we're like, you know, like, how do we sample it? So we did some samplings. The next step after that is to do some like handloom samples, we call it. So we did like small handloom samples where you see like this kind of a small like A4 size based sample from a sample loom or a hand loom. And that's where we, that's the concept that we take out and promote it on our socials. If we have customer meetings, you know, like we take it, bring it to them and showcase like this is what we feel like an interesting checkerboard should look like, you know, rather than just a normal checkerboard. Yeah, so we did a number of variations. We use different techniques. Our idea is to use like the technology of the suppliers that are out there in the world. I also have manufacturing experience before getting into the craft and quilting industry. So I'm using that connection, that experience of manufacturing and bringing those, understanding the technology and bridging those technologies with like techniques of weaving and collaboration. What I mean by that is that we went a further step ahead and we're like, how can we make it more exciting? So we started like coming up with like textures that are like I've never seen before in my life. So, you know, like it's just so cool to like work with these technologies and bring these ideas out and then bring them into like handloom samples where people can actually feel how the fabric is gonna like feel and what it's gonna look like before going to any production. So this is like the strike off, I would say like a strike off stage. But these are our development cards, right? So we bring these development cards out. People who know us connect with us. We have conversations around concepts, and then we customize those concepts and they're running colors with their stories, with their solids, with their blenders, textures that are running, and then a piece of this idea gets collaborated into their lines. So this is how we like do stuff at Innotex.
Yeah, it's so cool, and I think it's a like I said at the start, it's a way of working in the industry that I think people might not even know happens or exists because we know there's in-house designers,
Yep.
you know, like quilting fabric manufacturers. We know there's freelance designers.
Yep.
But what we may not fully realize is that there are companies like you who come in with a concept
Yep.
using technology, using weaving in new ways, and then the quilting fabric companies can customize that and harness that to be part of their collections. And I'm thinking about space dye, some space dye fabric. I think that's
Absolutely.
wild, right? I
Yep.
bought like after you showed it to me, I bought a whole fat quarter bundle because this fabric, it's like woven in this way that makes it so warm and like dynamic looking and rich looking in a way that a solid just doesn't, and it's so beautiful. So
Absolutely.
that's so cool, and just I think something that
Yeah.
people might not even understand exists.
I'm actually wearing one of those colors right now. Like you can see those beautiful textures. So I like this was the original space that got collaborated, right? So this is what you're referring to as well. So you know, like this the story that comes out. I'm gonna show you exactly how we made more than 200 or 300 variations of space art concept. But it all started with this one line of fabric, which is like, which was like when I was doing a mill visit, and I went to like I like to regularly do mill visits, and that's one thing that we bring onto the table is that I'm from Pakistan. That's the experience that I got, and I can speak their language, right? And I can like understand their technology better because of that. And going back to like the mills and visiting and talking to their like research and development people and seeing what's out there and obviously that's for a different market. They have their local markets. They're supplying to Europe as well, and so we're literally like just making sure that the facilities that we're working at like are like equipped, not just equipped, compliance, and you know like in terms of standards, doing regular mill visits is important in that way. So we were talking to one of the research and development managers there, and he was showing me, and I was like, what is that? I want to see that. Because it was just clicking in my eye. I've never seen something like that before. And then I understood the technology. We went into further like depths of discussions. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Can I offer you my design direction in this? And then we came up with like, this was the first one. And then I remember like I brought this back with me. And it was sitting on my table for like a couple of weeks. And I'm just looking at like paintings around me, and I'm looking at like different inspirations, and I'm like, can this be like in those colors? And because it has a magnitude of adding color into the bead, just as you were explaining, like it's got those warm textures. It all happens because you can add more color into a single cone, and that cone is used on the warp, which is the beam of the fabric. So on one direction, it is a moving color, and on the second direction, it's a solid color. So what we're doing is that we're blending a number of colors mixing on the warp, and then let them play with like the solid colors on the wax, and it automatically creates a beautiful experience of like color mixing. And the way you work with it is that you have like certain color themes and you work around that. If you want to be more playful, have more contrasting colors. If you want to be more sophisticated, have like less contrasting colors, more muted colors, and it just blends into like beautiful colors. And it's very, very, very nice feel to it. You know, like and we have a variety of concepts in that technology. So
And so
yeah, and
where can like quilting customers now buy that?
well,
Like what?
That's up to like that's a very good question because we don't work directly with clothing customers. We work with like clothing fashion manufacturers, and it's about creating like whoever the clothing customers are, they can reach out to their stores, or the stores can reach out to their um, fabric manufacturers where they buy those fabric collections from, and be like, hey, can you guys develop a line of something like this? And then they can come to us and we can work with them for sure. We're going to be there at the market. So, like clothing
Right.
customers can eventually, we're going to be there to showcase our concept. And that's it. We're not there to like do a lot of direct selling. We're just there to showcase that this concept exists in the supply chain, which can come out with some very interesting concepts for this market.
Totally. So I love it. I love to know about it and to
Yeah,
understand. And I think it's really great that you're kind of a bridge between the mills and producers in Pakistan, and then you're in Canada,
yeah,
I believe, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah,
a company in Canada, and you're bilingual and can kind of go between translating what, maybe a US consumer market wants, developing new ideas, new textures, new
yeah.
weaves, and bringing that to quilters. So I think it's super cool. And folks can come and connect with you at Quilt Market. And just to know about what Innotex is doing, I think is really neat. And we really appreciate having you as a member. So thank you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Like I love being around creative people, and having this family place in that like spot in this supply chain, value chain, feels like we're in the right spot. There's a lot of crafting, quilting, creative. Like this industry just inspires me a lot. Just working with people directly, and it's all about collaborating those ideas together.
Totally. And that's definitely the spirit of Craft Industry Alliance as well. It's just reaching out and working together, knowing about each other. So anyway, everyone should go follow Innotex on Instagram. You can get a sense of the different kinds of textiles that are being produced and innovated. And Aamir, it was great to have a chance to talk with you.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having
Thank you. And thank you to everybody who joined us. See you next week. Bye.
me.